So today I'm going to talk about programming and the backstory about drinking. So what I've realized when I was a young girl, I saw my father drink regularly and my mother drink at celebrations with her other adult friends, and it was a very normal thing. So me as a kid seeing that this is something normal, I never once questioned it as I got into my late teens where I started regularly drinking, hiding it from my parents, but regularly drinking. I didn't see a problem with it because this was something that my parents did, and because I felt like such an adult, so grown and mature for my age because of the past that I have lived, I didn't see anything wrong with drinking. Come to find a couple years later, I got very addicted to it. And not addicted to alcohol in the sense of, oh, I love the taste of it, I love the smell of it, I love alcohol. I was not team love alcohol, but I loved what it allowed me to feel, which was nothing. Oddly enough, I didn't want to feel the emotions that I couldn't explain or express. I was a very rock, solid, die hard, don't cry. I had very select times where I would cry, and it would usually be in my room or a closet by myself, alone, and wouldn't share that with anyone. To the world, I was always happy and fun and the life of the party. But to myself, behind closed doors, I was a very sad and lonely inside individual. And I kept trying to find the change in the external world and get the approval and fix outside so much that I never once really reflected inward. So this amplified my drinking from seeing it as something normal as a kid to being an adult who is now addicted to something that made her feel good. But because I was programmed from a young age to see it as something normal, it created my identity of that of a person who drinks. Not my genetics, not my family history, not a choice that I did not have. I had the choice in drinking, and I chose to drink every single time, which led to more drugs, right? One drug, it was a gateway drug, and it led to a ton of other drugs. All drugs that allowed me to not feel. So my programming allowed me, or created my identity of a person who drinks, and then created the reality that I fucking hated. I didn't like where I was. I didn't like my group of friends. I didn't like the people who I was associating myself with. I didn't like where I was at job-wise, finance, spiritually, emotionally. I just didn't like me. So it was easier to keep falling back into the identity of the programming that had been created. So it wasn't until about 2020 to 2024 that I had started doing the really deep dive on myself and figuring out, how do I change my identity? How do I become this person who shows up for herself and is responsible and reliable? Like, oh, I'll just cut out drinking. I failed multiple times because I thought it was just that. I thought it was just as easy as just stop drinking and everything will fix itself. I had to go even deeper. I had to go back to programming and start to ask questions and see, why did I always think it was okay to drink? Oh, because society, my parents, my environment, my friends had always convinced me that this is something that everybody does. This is normal. We all do it. It's totally fine. Until one day I questioned it all and I was saying, no, it was never normal. It's not normal to poison your body. It's not normal to drink something that has ethanol in it, something that we put into our cars. That's not normal to put into our bodies. No matter what society preaches, and that it's legal and that it's drugs and alcohol, even though drugs and alcohol are the same thing. Alcohol is a drug. It's like saying Skittles and candy. We know damn well sure that candy is candy and Skittles is still candy, but we're separating the two. Why? No idea. Drugs and alcohol are the same thing. One is legal and they can regulate it and they can tell you to start drinking at the age of 21. At 21, then you can start to poison yourself. Then you can start to make adult decisions like that you can be under the influence. But you can't drive, and you can't drink too much of it, or else you're going to be a blacked out, sloppy mess. But good luck not getting addicted to it in a world that we live in, like the one that we're in. It's very hard, because there are a lot of challenges and adversity that you have to face in order to grow. But through that growing pain, there is pain. And in that pain, it's a lot of uncertainty, a lot of, well, I don't know how to handle this emotion. I don't know how to deal with this. I don't know who to talk to, because if I try to talk to my friends about this drinking problem, they're going to look at me cross-eyed like I don't have a problem, or tell me things like, You don't have a problem. You're not at rock bottom. You don't need to go to AA. You don't need to go to rehab. You just need to drink water and like fuel your body up with carbs before you go out to drink. Isn't it safe to say if you have to do all these things for preparation to drink, it's probably safe to say that this is not good to be inside of my body? I don't know. Just a thought. So, if you want to reprogram your mind and have a different identity, you got to go way back and start to question the things that had led you up to this moment. Question everything. Because we were taught to believe one thing in one way, only to come to find that we don't even question it as adults. Like, why do we do the things that we were taught as kids? Why don't we ever change the way of thinking? Because it's a lot harder to do that. So, question everything. Everything you've learned, everything up until this point, question it all. Okay? See you on the next video.